When Emily said she was meeting her ex for dinner, she delivered it like a weather report, dry, casual, emotionless. I remember looking up from my laptop and saying, "Your ex, Jason?" She nodded, slipping on her coat, eyes avoiding mine. "He's in town for a few days. It's just dinner. Don't be jealous. Okay?" That line, "don't be jealous," hung in the air long after the door closed. It wasn't jealousy that burned inside me. It was a quiet ache that something sacred had shifted. Emily and I had been married for 8 years, and somewhere between the bills, late meetings, and tired apologies, we'd lost the rhythm that once kept us close. Still, I tried to trust her. That night, I waited up, the TV whispering in the background. 10 o'clock became 11, then midnight. When she finally walked in, her hair smelled of someone else's cologne. Sharp, unfamiliar, intrusive. She tossed her purse on the couch and smiled faintly. "You're still up?" "Yeah," I said. "How was dinner?" "Fine. We talked. Caught up." She disappeared into the bedroom before I could ask more. The next morning, she acted as though nothing happened. She hummed while making coffee, her phone lighting up with messages she quickly turned face down. For days, I tried to silence the doubt. I told myself I was overthinking, that maybe trust meant believing even when it hurt. But small things began to add up. Late texts, muted calls, sudden changes in passwords. Then one night she came home laughing. Not the tired laugh I'd grown used to, but the bright, easy kind she used to give me. She was glowing, dressed better than usual for what she claimed was just drinks with coworkers. I asked, "Was Jason there?" Her smile faded. "Why are you obsessed with him?" she snapped. "It's exhausting, Ethan. You're acting insecure. It's dinner, not an affair." The word affair hit like a match to gasoline. She said it before I could. I realized she wasn't defending innocence. She was defending control. That night, I didn't argue. I simply nodded, kissed her cheek, and said, "You're right. I've been overreacting." She looked relieved, even smug, believing she'd won the conversation. But while she slept, I opened my laptop and started preparing. It wasn't rage, it was resolve. I checked our joint accounts, passwords, and lease details. Quietly, I moved my savings to a separate account under my name. I changed the smart lock access on the front door, resetting every code but mine. Over the next week, I kept my distance. I stopped asking where she was going, stopped pretending I didn't know. She mistook my silence for surrender. Then came Friday, the night everything unraveled. She left the house in a silver dress I hadn't seen before, one that shimmered when she moved. "I'll be back late," she said, kissing my cheek mechanically. When the door shut, I watched from the window as Jason's black BMW pulled up to the curb. She glanced around, then got in quickly, her smile wide, alive. My chest tightened, but I didn't chase after her. Instead, I turned off the porch light, closed the blinds, and packed a small duffel bag. I spent the night at a friend's place, where I waited until morning. The next day, around 8, my phone buzzed with messages from Emily. "Ethan, my key isn't working. Did you change the lock? Answer me." I didn't reply. She called once, twice, then 10 times. Each ring was a fragment of the old trust she'd shattered, echoing through the quiet kitchen where her mug still sat half full from the day before. By the time I got home, the morning sun was already washing the street in pale light. Emily was standing by the door, arms crossed, fury tightening every feature. "What the hell, Ethan? Why won't my key work?" I unlocked the door, stepped inside, and left it open behind me. "Because you don't live here anymore." For a moment, she didn't understand. Her eyes darted from my face to the empty spots where her things had been. Her framed photos, the perfume tray on the dresser, the laptop that used to sit on the counter. "You're being ridiculous," she said, following me in. "It was just dinner. We've been married 8 years. Don't throw that away over a meal." "You're right," I said quietly. 8 years. That's a long time to pretend everything's fine. I handed her a small box. Inside were her house key, her wedding ring, and a printed photo I'd found on her phone. Her and Jason, sitting too close at a restaurant she once swore she'd never go to again. The color drained from her face. "You went through my phone? You left it unlocked," I replied. "I didn't have to look hard. You'd already stopped hiding it." She tried to speak, but words tangled in her throat. She reached out, maybe to grab my hand, maybe to salvage something from the wreckage, but I stepped back. "Ethan, please. It didn't mean anything." I looked at her for a long moment. "Then why did it feel like everything to you?" Silence. Only the faint hum of the refrigerator filled the space where trust used to live. I walked her to the door. She lingered, trembling, waiting for me to soften the way I always had. But that version of me was gone. "I transferred your things to storage," I said. "You'll find the address in your email. The lease and utilities are in my name now. I'll have the papers ready by Monday." Her voice cracked. "You're ending our marriage over one mistake?" "No," I said. "I'm ending it because you made the mistake and then convinced yourself it was my fault for noticing." She didn't argue. Instead, she stepped outside, realizing the key in her hand had become nothing more than metal. When the door clicked shut, the silence felt final. I stood there for a while, staring at the lock she couldn't open. There wasn't any satisfaction, not at first. Just relief, the kind that comes when a wound finally stops bleeding. That afternoon, I went for a drive. The city looked different, sharper somehow. I stopped by the coffee shop we used to visit on Sundays. The barista recognized me and asked where Emily was. I just smiled and said, "Probably finding another dinner partner." Over the next few weeks, I learned to enjoy small things again. Cooking for one, sleeping diagonally on the bed, playing music too loud. People think freedom comes in big gestures, but for me, it arrived in quiet moments. An open window, a locked door, peace that didn't need anyone's permission. Emily tried contacting me again, first through texts, then emails filled with apologies. The last one simply said, "I didn't realize you'd actually let me go." I never replied. Some lessons don't need answers. Months later, I saw her by chance at a grocery store. She looked older, not in years but in weight, the kind carried by guilt and what-ifs. Jason wasn't with her. When our eyes met, she froze. I nodded once, a silent acknowledgement of everything that used to be. She opened her mouth, maybe to speak, but I turned away before she could. I didn't owe her closure. She'd already received it the morning her key failed. Outside, the air smelled like rain. I stood under it for a while, letting the water wash away the last traces of her perfume that somehow lingered in my memory. People always ask how you know when love is over. It's not when someone cheats. It's not when they lie. It's when you finally stop caring enough to explain why you're leaving. And that morning, when Emily's key clicked uselessly against the lock, I realized something simple. I wasn't being jealous. I was finally being free.